everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin, and for today's video, it is going to be a paranormal investigation of the old burying ground in Beaufort, North Carolina. Now, the old burying ground is a very, very old cemetery that's in Beaufort, North Carolina. They have graves going in there, they think back until 1711. And the reason why I say think is there's kind of an area, which you'll see in the video, that's kind of like a common grave or a mass grave area of people who were injured, or, well, they weren't injured, they were killed in an Indian war in 1711. And then there's some other various interesting graves throughout this cemetery that you'll see in the video. Now, I think I'm going to do a video just on like the history of the old burying ground and the specific markers, which are gravestones and particular graves of interest that are in this cemetery, because there's a lot of interesting stuff that goes on there. I touch on a good portion of them as we are investigating the cemetery. Now, I will say that when we went, number one, it was a windy day. So if you're a headphone wearer, I apologize in advance. There was really nothing we could do about it being windy just because of where the cemetery is located. It is not far from the water. So of course you have the wind coming onshore, but it was just also a windy day in general. We will be going back, and hopefully when we do go back, it will not be as windy. So I apologize in advance for that. Number two, we used a lot of different equipment on this. We used the EDI Plus, the Zoom, which is like a recorder that you can get EVPs on, my spirit box, and we also use the necrophonic app. I will tell you right away that initially we started out using just the spirit box and we weren't really getting much from it, so I ended up switching over to the necrophonic app, which there is some more interesting tidbits with that, which I found that a lot lately. I don't know if it's just easier for spirits to manipulate phonics rather than try to talk through white noise, but yeah, I will say right off the bat that the spirit box was kind of iffy, but it does get better once we start using the necrophonic app, and there's some interesting things. Also, like I said, we used the Zoom. I did go through all of our audio from that. Because it was so windy, it was very hard to hear a lot of stuff, but I did find 2 EVPs from the beginning that I will include in here. I will say that it is going to be much easier to hear these 2 EVPs if you have headphones. I am still learning how to clear up some stuff so I can pull out the background noise so you can hear them a little bit better, but I did want to include them in this video, so they will be there, and you'll see there'll be like a little blurb saying that that's what's coming up. And also, one last thing before we jump into the video. This is obviously something that's open to the public, and they are open from like 9 to 5 type of deal, and they close the gates and lock them at 5. So we're not people to break the law, so we were there during the day, and there were other people there. Now, I understand that you're gonna garner attention when you're doing a paranormal investigation in a cemetery. There were not that many people there. There were 2 particular people who, when we first got there, they literally were like following us around and being creeps. And I say being creeps just because they were kind of standing there and staring at what we were doing. So the video is a little bit choppy in the beginning, but that's because they kept coming up and it was getting a little uncomfortable, so we would cut with the intention of going back. And to be honest, by the time we got to the end of the cemetery, it was cold and we quite honestly forgot. So that's why we're gonna go back. But I still think that this is worth posting because we did get some interesting evidence. But yeah, and with that, here's our investigation of the old burying ground. Okay, so we're at the old burying ground in Beaufort, North Carolina. Here's the main entrance. There's a lot of wind and construction and stuff going on, so bear with that as we go through this. Okay, so this is the little girl that's buried in the barrel of rum. And what it says on the website is, here's the grave of a girl buried in a barrel of rum. In the 1700s, an English family, including an infant daughter, came to Beaufort. The girl grew up with a desire to see her homeland and finally persuaded her mother to allow her to make the voyage. Her father promised his wife he would return the girl safely. The girl enjoyed her visit to London but died on the voyage home. She would have been buried at sea, but her father could not bear to break his promise. He purchased a barrel of rum from the captain, placed her body in it, and brought it to Beaufort for burial. So they don't even know what her name is. She's just known as the girl in the barrel of rum. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the EDI Plus and the spirit box. I'm going to place the EDI Plus by the grave so we can see if it does anything, and I'm going to try to hold the spirit box in my hand, but we'll see how that works out. I'm speaking to the girl that's buried in the barrel of rum. Is there anything you wish to say to her? And just so you know, we also have the Zoom going. These are my boyfriend's hands. Come in handy. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak with us?
Can you tell us maybe what you died from? Can you tell us maybe what you died from? Can you tell us maybe what you died from? Something's going on.
If you touch the little orange box, the blue lights will light up, and that'll let us know you're here.
Is there anything you'd like to tell us by chance? Who brought all these toys?
Do you like the toys?
Is there anything you'd like to tell us by chance?
Okay, so if we look at this one here, let me see if I can zoom in. This is Lafayette E. Leecroft, MD. Sorry, the lighting is a little dark under this tree. I might have to take a picture with my phone camera. I don't know how well you can see that, but it looks like it's broken at the top, and that's on purpose. It was to symbolize that his life was cut short. There's some pretty ritzy headstones here. This is a young child. 1846 to 1858. So we're definitely going to get some temperature spikes here because it's pretty windy. Dr. Leecroft, are you here?
Spike there and all of a sudden it went up. Are you at peace here?
So here is the mass burial plot for the settlers that were killed during the Indian War of September 1711. My understanding is that they're all kind of, let me back up so you can see. They're all kind of buried between these trees here. I'll have to get a little more history on it as to why they were buried in a mass grave, but that's what's right here.
Is there anybody here that wants to talk to us?
How many people are buried here?
Wow, something's happening. Going up. Are you the one that's making this reading in my hand on this Geiger counter change?
If you use the noise from the box, you can speak with us. If you touch the orange box, the blue lights will light up. That'll let us know you're here.
Can you bring the Geiger counter back up to 20?
Is there anybody in this entire cemetery?
Everybody must be at peace here. Pretty good.
I guess so. Alright guys, we're going to try something else because we'll have better luck. Alright, so this is the grave of Vienna. She was about 2 when she died, shortly after her 2nd birthday. She was born on October 5th, 1863, and died on October 23rd, 1865. So, what Vienna died of was yellow fever, and the interesting thing about this grave is she was supposedly buried in a glass top coffin that was later vandalized, and when they brought up the body, she was still intact, and as soon as they opened the glass top casket, she supposedly disintegrated. What I think is pretty interesting is this tree that she's underneath. I don't know what kind of tree this is, but it kind of goes up like this. So Vienna was only 2, so I don't know that she'll be able to talk too much to us, but I think we're just going to use the spirit box on this one. Vienna, or anybody in this plot, is there anybody that wishes to speak with us? Vienna, do you know that you're dead? What did you die of? Is there anybody else in this plot that wishes to speak with us? We don't come with any disrespect. We're just interested to know more about you. Your thoughts have been very quiet today, guys.
Yeah, I really haven't said much. Maybe the Zoom caught something. We'll find out.
Yeah, we have this running too for EVPs, so we'll see. If you look back there, there's a marker for number 5. That is a school teacher that was here in Beaufort, so we'll try to talk to him. Samuel, are you here? And a whole lot of nothing today, guys. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak?
I guess not.
Okay, so this one is interesting, guys. This is Sara Gibbs and Jacob Shepherd. Now, you may be wondering why they're buried next to each other. Because if you read, I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but it says the late wife of Jacob Gibbs. Well, Sara was married to Jacob. Jacob went off to sea. It was presumed that Jacob was in a shipwreck. In fact, I think he was shipwrecked. So, after not returning for years, Sara married this man, Nathaniel, and had a child with him. Well, a few years later, good old Jacob shows up again. So, they made an agreement that she would stay married to Nathaniel, and would be by his side in life, but that she would spend the rest of eternity after she died next to Jacob. So let's see if they have anything to say about that. Sara, Jacob, are you here? Sara, how do you feel that you had to be buried next to Jacob? If either one of you are here, can you touch this orange box? The blue lights down here at the bottom will light up and it'll let us know you're here. Guys, we're going to do a little experiment here. I'm going to turn on the necrophonic app. We're going to try the necrophonic app because I've been having better luck with this lately. Yes, really. Sara, Jacob, are you here? Yes, that is your grave. Where are we going back to? Is it easier to talk on this? That's what I heard. I don't like this.
You don't like this?
Guys, do you want us to go elsewhere? We don't have to bother you. If you want us to go, let us know. Peace? Are you at peace?
Is there anything you'd like to tell us?
Sara, how do you feel about being buried next to Jacob? You're buried next to Jacob, do you know that? Are you upset that you're not buried next to Nathaniel? Sara, we're going to move on to another grave. Same thing, Jacob. We're going to move on to another grave. Is there anything else you want us to know? No.
Yes.
Are you guys arguing with one another? Doesn't that almost sound like a man and a woman going back and forth?
Maybe.
Alright, we're gonna move on. Alright guys, so this is another interesting one here. If you read it, it says British naval officer buried standing in salute to His Majesty King George III. That gives you an idea of how old this cemetery is. There's lots of people here from before the Revolution. It doesn't give his name, but he died on board a ship in the port of Beaufort, and he wanted to be buried with his boots off, whatever that means, and he was buried standing up in full uniform. And I'm assuming that on top of that tomb there, it once upon a time said, "Resting 'neath a foreign ground, here stands a sailor of Mad George's crown, name unknown and all alone, standing the rebels' ground." Leave. I heard that loud and clear. We're speaking to a British naval officer who is supposedly buried standing up. What's your name, sir?
Don?
Is your name Don?
Or was it John?
Or John? Is it John? John, are you still loyal to the crown? Are you upset that you're buried here in what's now the United States? Are you okay being buried here? Do you want us to leave and move on to a different grave? If you want us to leave, say leave. Do you like having somebody to talk to? If you want us to leave, make that go to a .12. Don't leave?
Do you not want us to leave?
Are you lonely? No, sir, we're going to move on to another grave because we want to check some other stuff out before we have to leave. We'll be back, though, eventually. Bye. Okay, guys, so this is the common grave of the Krissy Wright, which is a ship that wrecked in January of 1886, and all of the people that were on board froze to death. So this is their common grave. It's kind of under this big bush. I wonder how they feel about that. We'll find out. We're speaking to the members of the Krissy Wright. Are you here? Are there any members of the crew that wish to speak with us? How many of you are buried here?
You got 8 people buried here?
9? Did you say sailor? You're sailors? Yeah, we know. What happened to your ship? Sounded like it said we're all dead. Help? What do you need help with? Do you need help crossing over to the other side? Alright. We're gonna move on, but we'll be back one day. Bye. So this man that's buried here at marker 21, apparently he had the pleasure of getting married, writing his will, and dying all on the same day. Now, you can't, everything that was on the gravestone seems to be weathered away, so there's nothing there, but it does have his initials here. So,
what did it say?
This is not on.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, that's not on.
You have to hit start to get it to go. That was weird. That's never happened before.
Huh.
Let's try this again and see what happens when it's supposed to be working. Was that you that made my phone started acting weird? How did you die?
What?
Did you purposely get married, write your will, and die on the same day?
Anything you'd like to tell us?
Did you just say you want us to leave? Did that say leave now?
It sounded like it almost.
Do you want us to leave now? If you do, we'll go. Okay, we'll go. So we started getting some radiation spikes here, so my boyfriend wanted to turn the camera back on, so here we are. This is Captain Otway Burns. So we'll see if he has anything to say. Are you here, Captain Burns?
anything you'd like to tell us, Captain Burns?
Is this... Yes, we are recording. Is this Captain Burns that we're speaking to, or is it someone else? What's your name? Can you make the number go from 5 to 7 on the Geiger counter? Guys, have you noticed it was a lot higher and now it's down to a 0.03? Who's buried here? Is it a child? Are you a child? What's your name? Say my name.
Sounded like it, kinda.
I am Aaron. What's your name? Did you say your name is Louise? Okay, we're gonna move on because I'm starting to freeze to death. Bye. Okay, so we came back here for our final stop, and this is the little girl buried again, but this is on the opposite side, and I wanted to try to use the necrophonic app. We're back again. Do you like all these toys that they gave you? What's your name? Are you upset that you died on the way back here? Are you glad that your dad buried you instead of giving you a burial at sea? What did you die of? Next time we come, we'll be sure to bring you some kind of gift. We didn't know that people left you gifts. People leave some strange stuff at this grave, let's just put it that way. So, we have lots of beads and stuff. That's fine. Apparently, the little girl needs a red Solo cup. I guess because she's buried in a rum barrel? I don't know. But if we go around here, people left some Christmas ornaments, and if you look right here, next to Barbie, somebody left a Taco Bell gift card. I'm not really too sure what a spirit's going to do with a Taco Bell gift card, but I guess it's the thought that counts. There's a key over here. I wonder what that's a key to.
Little girl, do you like the Taco Bell gift card?
There's definitely an interesting myriad of stuff left here. There is a laundry card here.
Oh wow.
I'm not sure what a laundry card does. But hey. To each their own, I suppose. We didn't know that they left gifts here for her. We'll definitely be back, so we'll bring a little something something next time, but I don't know. I just think it's really interesting. Considering that this is an extremely old grave, that people still leave trinkets for her. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and go and leave you at rest here with your toys and your Taco Bell card. But we'll come back someday. Bye. And that is it for our investigation of the old burying ground. What did you guys think? I think we did get some interesting results. Like I said though, I'm excited to go back and do this again. It'll be a little bit more well thought out when we go, and less windy, and hopefully not as cold. But it's kind of iffy when we do that because as soon as it gets warm in this area, since we are by the coast, there are a lot of tourists. So hopefully we can get it in before tourist season starts, because otherwise we're gonna have to wait until after tourist season, just because there'll be a lot of people in the area. Those of you who live on the coast or live near a coastal town will know exactly what I mean. These areas are kind of dead when it's winter time and not tourist season, and there's just an influx of people when it is nice out and it is tourist season. But that is it for this video. If you liked it, please give me a big old thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel but you do like my videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!